Greetings, everybody. I'm having such a great time today. We woke up. We're so blessed, and in front of me, I have a very special person. And really, I mean, truly mean that he's a very special person. This is Erik Scott, and he's serving in the U.S. military for the last 16 years. This is so impressive. And Erik, also founder and creator of Overcome HQ, and successfully runs that since 2018. And also in 2015, he has developed a local leadership training programs that has been used within the military organizations and has got impacted over 20,000 personnel and has approval rating of 97% of effectiveness. Erik, this is just mind blowing. Before we start, before I ask you a question,
Yes.
I just want to really thank you on behalf of this country, on behalf of my family, for your service. You know, sometimes
Thank
when we
you.
talk, we do not understand how blessed we are, how much we have it. But the women and men, thankfully for men and women just like you, who have put their heart, their lives for us. So, Erik, from the bottom of my heart, please accept this this appreciation for what you have done.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Erik,
So I
I
appreciate
know
that. Thank you very much.
yeah, I know you took your this time from the business right now, what you were doing. Can you let us know what you're doing right now, where you are and where you're calling us from?
I'm actually sitting at our local, one of our local churches. I'm at a event called White Noise 2020. It is a youth conference.
Yes,
It's where we support seventh grade through 12th grade youth, young men and women that just trying to get into the presence of God and help them hear the voice of God through worship and through prayer and through words. So that's where we are right now. As a matter of fact, my daughter is with me. She's inside. She's doing her thing, but it's been a journey. It's not my conference. It is a very close friend of mine, Jay Barton. They launched this program about 5 years ago, and they're continuing on. And even during this time of COVID, and even during this time
yes,
where the world is just completely unknown, we know that we need to connect with something greater. And through our faith and through our Father up in heaven, He comes down and He speaks to us, and He said, "Move." So uh, the title of this conference is called Kairos. It's that divine moment in time.
yes,
So
yes,
we
yes, yes.
are we are speaking that, and we are moving that. And honestly, it's been a great 12 hours thus far. We started last night at 5 o'clock, and
Yep.
and we're going to go through today until about 8, 9 o'clock tonight, and or until God says it's time to stop, and then we'll stop, and then we'll just keep on
Yes.
pressing in and moving
I
forward. So
know.
that's
I've
where we
been
are right
watching
now.
you guys out there. I know what you're doing. So this is amazing, Erik. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for putting it. But I know sometimes when we look at the person, right, we look at the military, all we see is bravery, courage in them, dedication. But we sometimes forget that they are, like I said, real people with the pain, with the struggle, with the background, and with a
Yep.
real story and a message. And Erik, you have an impact. You have a story that led you to found to organize such, Overcome HQ. Can you please share your story
Oh,
and how it led to that? It just
absolutely.
amazing, mind blowing. To be honest with you, it's just amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll share it with you, and I'll probably cry through it. But I mean, that's who we are, right?
Please
Well,
do.
to be honest, my story really starts a lot longer before I joined the military. I was young. I was 17 years old. I was kicked out of my house for some bad decisions, bad choices that I made, and that really just carried on for about, man, 20 years or so. But when I was younger, I was living out of my car when I was still in high school. I started a business when I was 17. I dropped out of college after that. Um, and I just lived a really rough life growing up. Alcohol and drugs played a big, big, big part of that. At 24 years old, I joined the military because I felt like I had nothing else to do. It was either jail or the street. And I wasn't in tune to either one of those. So I joined the military, but still just because you join the military, your life doesn't change. Who you are doesn't change. Your personality doesn't change. So I had a rough time, not initially in like the onset of joining the military, but more so after you got out of like the under instruction part. um, in boot camp and things like that. I got to my first command. I think after like the first 6 weeks I was at my first command, I got into a fight with a whole bunch of cops at a location here in Norfolk, Virginia, um, and I got arrested just because of alcohol and drinking and just partying. And everybody says that when they meet someone who's in the military, Navy specifically, you know they're drinkers and they're this and they're that, and I lived it to the T, right? Uh, so that went on for a few years. I stayed down here in Virginia for about 5 or 6 years. I went up to Massachusetts for a period of time where I was actually enlisting people into the military, and then I came back. When I came back, that's when things really actually, though it was really good. My career was advancing, but my home life was really in turmoil. I'm a father of five. Um, I'm married still to the same woman who I met when I was 21. So we've been together for everything. But through it all, it was 2016, and that's where a lot of things started getting really bad for me. A lot of internal battles, um, a lot of self-esteem issues and self-awareness issues and self-worth issues that just weren't really who I was. And then it was June of 2016. I left my family. I just disappeared for about a month or two. I started drinking heavily. I spent a ton of money. Um, I was working every day, right? But I wasn't being a father. I wasn't being a husband. I was a complete disaster. And then part of the story and part of my testimony, it was, as a matter of fact, you caught me today. Today is October 10th, and today is exactly 4 years ago to this day, to where I was driving to Florida, going to a school. I just left my wife, who basically gave me a book and said, if you don't read this book by the time you get back, uh, then we're going to get divorced. And it was The Purpose Driven Life from Rick Warren, which is just an amazing book, right? So I would say anybody that gets a chance to read it, read it. It completely changed my life. But there was a time I'm driving down in Florida. It was right after Hurricane Matthew came up and tore up Florida. So there was no place to stay. There was a storm rolled through. So there was no place to stay. There was no place to go. So I slept in the back of my truck. And it was October 10th, 8:30 in the morning. I woke up. I got out of my car. And as I closed the door, I saw a man behind me, and he reached up and he stabbed me in my back. And I felt nothing but pain come over me. I felt nothing but just immense, like someone was trying to kill me. I hit the floor. I screamed, and then the lady next to me jumps out of her car. She walks up to me and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I scream at her. I said, "Get away, get away!" And she looks at me and goes, "Okay," and she just walks away. And I turn around. There's nobody there. The person who was killing me was myself. I felt real death come upon me. And I said, I just screamed up. I said, "Lord, save me." And it was in that moment to where my entire life changed. I walked into the bathroom. I washed my face. I got down to Florida, and I called my wife, and I said to her, I said, "I don't know what just happened." I said, "But I'm different." And she goes, "Yeah, right. We'll see when you get home." I returned home back in November of that same year in 2016. And I was still having issues with my anger issues and temper and who I was, but I quit drinking altogether. So 4 years today, I haven't had a drink of alcohol since. Completely saved by God. But it took me about a year in 2017 where I actually started digging into the Word. I started really digging into my faith. I started really seeking what the truth was. And in January of 2018, I actually was demoted at work on January 17th, and it was January 18th of 2018 where I actually launched OvercomeHQ. Basically, our motto is to lead, inspire, and drive people to become a better self. And our goal is to help young people and young leaders specifically. I specifically deal with young men who have dealt with struggle, who have dealt with anger, who have dealt with all of these things, just become better people. Because what I've realized is that for 36 years as an alcoholic, 36 years of doing the wrong thing, it took something to kill me to bring me back to become a better person. It took something to truly take out my life and die to become a better person. And I know a lot of people, they don't realize, like when I say I died, there was real pain. There was real breath removing from my body. There was real life being sucked out of me. And it just took my life away. But since then, and launching Overcome, it initially just started by basically drafting up daily affirmations and daily inspiration and speaking to, and I don't really care who reads it or sees it or whatever. That's not what it's about. But it started this constant transition to move. And that's really where my life started changing. And I just started seeing my self-worth. I started seeing what I really should become. I started seeing that my story can help people, and that we shouldn't be afraid of who we are. We should be afraid of who we thought we once were. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
I'm not afraid of who I am. You know, I'm a man of faith. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a disciple of God. I'm all of these things, and that's great. You know, but I should be scared of where I was, because I wasn't living the life that I should have been living. So moving forward, right? 2019, I went on my first mission trip, and my wife and I have been talking about doing this for years. And I went on my first mission trip up to Pennsylvania, to where I served youth as a leader. I kind of shared some of my testimony, and I watched kids just start to grow from that. I watched my daughter get baptized that same year. I was water baptized that same year. I was baptized in fire that year. My water was like my family completely changed. And then I watched my wife go on a missions trip to Mexico, and she served at a church down there, and she just completely connected with babies, which then started sparking this idea and this, the talk of like, where are we going to go? As a matter of fact, huge announcement is going to be coming out next week, to where, and I'll share it with you right now. We just closed on a piece of property yesterday up here in Virginia, to where we're going to be serving youth locally. We're going to be hosting youth locally on 9 acres of property.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 2019, I had a vision, and that vision was to buy 86 acres of property. That was my vision. And on that property, we were going to do, we wanted to host young leaders, and we wanted to do things like that. Well, I didn't buy 86 acres. I bought 8.6 acres. Good enough for me.
Good enough.
But what I realized out of all of this is that, you know, I watch people, and I'm going to get a little, I'm probably going to offend people when I say this, right? But I watch people on Instagram every day, like trying to make money quick and trying to, you know, it's all about money. It's all about how much this costs, or it's all about being a millionaire. What I realized is that my wealth is truly set in who I am.
Yes.
And my wealth is wealth is what my family is, right? Yes. I am a wealthy man because I have an amazing marriage and amazing kids at home. And I don't need the dollar figure to show that, when I can simply just speak a word and bring life to somebody. That is priceless.
Yes.
That's where my wealth comes from. And I would be remiss to say that honestly, if people are chasing dollar figures, they really need to reevaluate their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been going to school now for about 2 years to get my master's in divinity, to become a chaplain. And honestly, that has been more rewarding than anything financially could support me. Now, mind you, do we need to raise money and stuff like that for mission work? Of course we do, because it doesn't run itself. And, yeah, I get that. But I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to make an impact on young people, so that it could leave a legacy for those who don't know really where the truth lies, and we can just bring that word to them. I want to see my kids, who are 13 to the age of 2, grow up in a house, so when they speak a word, it's truth, and it's not worthlessness, but worthiness.
Yes.
So, and I mean, that's just some of my story. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm faithful, and honestly, I don't I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's my story. It's the truth. It's scary, but it's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Erik, thank you so much. First of all, congratulations on your 4-year anniversary for
thank you.
And I know God is going to multiply those things, and He will, going to use you, and He's going to multiply your vision. I like what you said, that you had a vision, and you followed your vision. I can tell that your heart is full of the passion of really drive, that that you are starting to figure out who you are, and that what sets you apart from who you were before. And you realize it is, and compare yourself that yes, who I am now is because of God is in me, and that's
Oh
the
yeah.
true wealth. He lets you see how great marriage you have, the children that you have, the ministry that you're going after. And you're absolutely right about chasing the dollar amount. Sometimes the wealthiest person is the poorest person on the planet, and the poorest person is the wealthiest person, because he knows who he is, because we value things that money cannot buy. And that's the
Yep.
most important thing that we can do. And Erik, what is the one thing or few things you want to leave our audience with, that you really want them to take it away from this conversation? If they've never seen you before, never hear about you, Erik, but this phrase is going to stick with them till the rest of their life. So I want you to share with us.
Big question. Great question. But if it could be anything, we all need to be leaders in who we are. We all need to be. We all need to be the inspiration for another. And honestly, we all need to take that inspiration and drive it home to the hearts of people who may not see it in themselves. There are times where we need to be somebody else's sounding board and somebody else's greatest cheerleader.
Yes.
And honestly, as an overcomer myself, and that's really where this comes from. And like I said before, our mission is to lead, inspire, and drive people to become a better self. That's really what it is. And there's nothing else that we need to do, as long as we are taking those individuals by the hand and we're walking with them daily. God's not physically here, but we are supposed to be that actual physical body that people can lean on. So they know that it's real, so, and that would be my takeaway.
That is amazing, Erik. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate what you do out there.
Absolutely.
Your heart and your mind and your spirit and your time and investing. You're planting the seeds right now. And maybe, like, we don't know, in 5, 10, 15 years, those young men are going to be sitting right in front of me and sharing the same things, how they have impacted somebody else. The visions will be sparking in their lives, in their hearts. And that's what we want. We want this America to become a better place, where we create and develop the leaders who will get the mission of God, and take this positiveness and inspire somebody else out there. And Erik, thank you so much, and God bless you. Absolutely. For everything you do. And
thank you.
Great and amazing day. Happy anniversary. And God is going to be using that. So this is incredible. Yes. October 10th is significant, day and a time that God is going to be using this moment to share to impact somebody else, and especially using you. I know you have a bigger and better place. I see it. I know it, Erik.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I really look forward to working with you again. I really do.
Yes, cannot wait.